Hey, what's up, everybody, man? So I know I'm a little bit late to the topic, but as you see on the screen, I'm here to help y'all understand who I think is better between DeAndre Hopkins and Mike Thomas, man. DeAndre Hopkins, he looks so ugly in this picture. I tried to find another one, but I couldn't. But this is the picture we're using. So, basically, Mike Thomas is a cocky dude. He really feels like he's the best receiver in the league, and he has every right to feel that way. But DeAndre Hopkins basically came out and said, you know what, it's all cool. Mike Thomas is my boy, but I'm just saying, if I had Drew Brees my whole career, my numbers would be the same, if not better than yours. And he actually has a valid point with that. But as far as last season, when you talk about who's better between Mike Thomas and DeAndre Hopkins, looking at the stats, you can easily say that Mike Thomas is better, you know? He was able to put up more yards, more touchdowns, and he had more yards after the catch than DeAndre Hopkins. And there's some other stats that are now on the screen that's in favor of Mike Thomas over DeAndre Hopkins. But at the same time, just off common sense, if Mike Thomas catches 45 more catches than DeAndre Hopkins, ain't his stats supposed to be better? Just saying, you know? So for us to sit up here and just rely on stats would just be stupid, bruh. So that's why I actually went ahead, looked at the film of every catch for both of these players, and I honestly feel like DeAndre Hopkins is the better receiver, you know? Now, as far as who got the better hands, this is how I'm going to break it down, bro. Mike Thomas, as far as hands, the technique of catching the ball, he got it, bro. It doesn't matter if it's a deep ball, a short pass, a pass that's behind him, too low, on the money, etc. Everything is coming straight in the hands. And even when adjusting to the ball, which is something that Mike Thomas also does a very good job at, he still makes sure that he maintains the proper techniques of catching a ball with straight hands. Not saying that DeAndre Hopkins don't got hands, because trust me, this man got hands, bruh. And it's actually a debate on who got better hands, because DeAndre Hopkins, he be catching the more difficult catches. Mike Thomas, he catches everything, but DeAndre Hopkins, he be catching the more difficult catches. It's just, I be seeing DeAndre Hopkins at times catch the ball with his body, and I don't see Mike Thomas do that. That's why I feel like I want to say Mike Thomas has the better hands, but DeAndre Hopkins is capable of making the more difficult catches. Now, when it comes to yards after the catch, I understand that Mike Thomas had more yards after the catch than DeAndre Hopkins, and technically, he's better at that. But remember, he had 45 more opportunities to do so. So when you talk about who's actually better at getting yards after the catch, and instead of who had more yards after the catch, I say DeAndre Hopkins is better at getting yards after the catch than Mike Thomas. The speed is there. The agility is there. The man can also make it hard for you to tackle him. He can hit you with a stiff arm. He can make you miss on occasion, you know? It's not like Mike Thomas is just killing him in that area, bruh. He just had more opportunity. That's how I feel. So when it comes to getting yards at the catch, even though Mike Thomas produced more, I feel like DeAndre Hopkins is more skilled at getting yards after the catch. Now, when it comes to route running, both of these players are good route runners, do not get me wrong, bruh. But Mike Thomas just does it better, bruh. He's more crispy, and it's just more smooth, bro. And he can beat you in multiple ways off the line. He can beat you physically by pushing you out the way, getting separation, and just catching the ball, bruh. He can beat you by footwork. Right there, he faked him out, cut in, made the corner do a spin. Right here, he beat the corner just by cha-chaing, bruh. Just by cha-chaing with him, bro. Right here, he runs the curl route. He does it so good. He creates separation, catches the ball, bro. DeAndre Hopkins be doing his thing too, and I feel like he runs routes faster and maybe a little bit more explosive than Mike Thomas. But Mike Thomas is just more polished in that area. Now, one thing I noticed about DeAndre Hopkins that I did not notice about Mike Thomas is his spider awareness and being able to find the holes in the defense, bro. This man will move to the open area and catch the ball. Right there, he moved the chains by doing that, bruh. Same thing right here. He knows the quarterback needs his help. He moves to the open area, catch the ball, bruh. Same thing on this play right here. He's running this route. You know, ain't nothing really going on. He sees DeAndre Hopkins needs his help. He runs to the open area. Like he ran directly to it, like he knew it was there. And scored off that. These are the type of plays that are game changing, bruh. A wide receiver with these type of traits can be the difference of you winning the Super Bowl or not, winning the game or not, simply scoring a touchdown or not, you know? So, DeAndre Hopkins, he's killing Mike Thomas in that area right now. But when you put everything together, when you talk about who's better between Hopkins and Thomas, the reason why I said DeAndre Hopkins is better than Mike Thomas because, okay, I understand Mike Thomas has the better technique in the actual hands than Hopkins, but DeAndre Hopkins, he has hands too, and they're basically neck for neck when it comes to hands. But DeAndre Hopkins, he still makes the more difficult catches. Even though Mike Thomas is a better route runner than DeAndre Hopkins, that man DeAndre Hopkins is still one of the elite route runners in the league, bro. Even though this man, Mike Thomas, has more yards after the catch than DeAndre Hopkins is the more talented, and he has more potential to get more yards after the catch than Mike Thomas, if that made any sense. He's obviously the faster player, bruh. And like I said, when it comes to him in the passing game, his spider awareness and being able to find the gaps in the defense when the time is needed just separates him a little bit from Mike Thomas, bruh. Now, before I end this video, two things I want to touch on as far as arguments that I feel like are invalid is height, bruh. Yes, I understand that Mike Thomas is the bigger receiver and he's taller, but let's keep it 100, bruh. We've seen so many 6'5", 6'3" scrubs enter the league. Size does not mean anything, bruh. That is not a real skill to me, bruh. That's why I didn't even bring it up, bruh. Next, one of the things that a lot of people like to say is, Mike Thomas, he's overrated. Or he catches slant routes, curl routes, drag routes, etc. DeAndre Hopkins, he does everything. I want to make correction to that, bruh. DeAndre Hopkins had more opportunities downfield than Mike Thomas, but that does not mean that DeAndre Hopkins is a better player downfield than Mike Thomas. It's just how both players were used in their offenses, bruh. And for the people that's saying Mike Thomas ran all these short routes, DeAndre Hopkins was running those same routes, bruh. Literally, he just had more opportunities downfield. And it's not like when he went downfield, he was consistently burning dudes. It's not like DeAndre Hopkins was just Randy Moss making these contested catches, etc. That's not the case. He literally was just utilized downfield more than Mike Thomas, bro. So I feel like that's not really a fair argument. If you want to say DeAndre Hopkins is a better deep threat than Mike Thomas, I will use things about how he beats his opponent downfield or how he's able to move around and find the holes in defense downfield to say he's a better deep threat than Mike Thomas. But in conclusion, like I said, I think DeAndre Hopkins is the better receiver than Mike Thomas. I don't know how you feel, but I would like to see how you feel in the comment section. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I got some more content coming soon.